All right, so we're going to be going over ES and the crude. I'm looking for opportunities. So here's here's one that happened. So basically we hit a spring, right? And I knew it was going to go because I mean, overnight there was buying activity right at this level, right? So there's buying activity, and then it did a little move up. So when it does that, you have to watch that low, because then in the next morning, that's when they're gonna run the stops, and then reverse it back up. That's exactly what happened. Here, I knew that the trade was gonna go because I mean this is the biggest bar in 85 fucking bars on the spring. Bang, right there, right? So what does that mean? That means just that's buying. It's basically what's called volume off the bottom or thrust off the bottom. It's in Wyckoff's first course, etc., etc. All right. So this came in and it did this, but unfortunately, it went into an upthrust position and they sold it. Why? Because the trend is down. When the trend is down, trend is more important than signal. And any counter trend move, any counter trend signal like this buying thing, it's not going to be a big move. It's going to be a small move, and you have to know how to get the fuck out. All right. So, the entry was somewhere around here. All right. Right after this thrust, it's a no-brainer, right? If you have this thrust, it has follow through. You know it's going to go up. Why? Because the level's rejected. This is rejected. This low is where prior buying came, and more buying came here. And I'll kind of explain that because these levels are used by large interests to do their buying and selling. And they're just looking at these levels, and they're making trades off levels. Right? You can't really trust a lot of the behavior and all that, but you can trust the behavior at the levels. So this here is a low. So when you buy low, sell high, this is the low. And that 85 biggest bar in 85 bars is buying low. And I thought it was going to go higher, but I should have been smarter because, the trend is down. As you can see, this channel is down, and just the spring set up the boom, the thrust, and it stopped right here. I really thought it was going to go a little higher and take out this area. So that's the area I was getting ready to exit, but I saw that, it's not going to work. So, and then at the upthrust position, guess what happened? Selling happened. Why? In downtrends, you sell upthrust. Why was I so sure that's going to work? Is because this high, this high, this high, this high, this high, no upthrust. No upthrust in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up waves. So obviously there's going to be an upthrust. That's what happens. Okay. And also because anytime I see a spring in a downtrend, I've said this once, I've said this again, springs in downtrends set up the upthrust in a downtrend. Again, the springs in downtrends set up the upthrust in a downtrend. You gotta understand this. All right, so that's what happened. The spring, boop, set up the upthrust here. Where's the selling at the highs? Right here. It's 36 times 1,000. I think it's like 36,000 right here, and then break the market. So right here's the climax. The climax right here. You can see it very clearly, right? 36 in a white box. It's a high volume at the high. All right, high volume at the high. Then it needs to break. This is the break, and you know that that's distribution. Anytime you have that high volume at the high, cannot hold, break, it's done. That's distribution. Same with accumulation, volume at the bottom, breakout, that's accumulation. Simple as that. You don't need to complicate it with too many other things. All right, so at the low, heavy buying activity, had a base, popped it up, put it in an upthrust position, sold the upthrust, went down. This signal is not really a signal because it's negated by the selling thing. All right, so now what am I waiting for? I really don't know. All I know is that we're in a downtrend, and you gotta get this the spring set up the upthrust, and simple as that. All right. And when those upthrust springs, etc., happen, you just look for high volume activity to identify, you know, they're taking a position. And also, I keep on mentioning this. Any change of behavior, wave, any sign of strength wave starts with a sign of strength bar. Change of behavior starts with a change of behavior bar. This is it. All right, now, so this is the change of behavior bar that set up the change of behavior or buying or sign of strength wave. Then it pulls back and attempts. Why didn't it go? Why didn't it go? Meaning make higher highs and trend up. Simple. We're in a strong downtrend. Why are we in a downtrend? I don't know, but I showed you guys the market breadth, and I showed you guys here when it did this shit, made that higher high, that was an upthrust. Look, lower high with selling. This thing right here is, I got it over here, the signal over here. This is one of the best ways to identify turning points on a daily chart in the market. Market breadth is one of the best ways, most consistent ways that again and again and again finds turning points. And how you do it, you get any market breadth indicator, you put your buying and selling, whatever structure you use, waves, I use waves, and then you want to take a look at the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ to see if they're both confirming. Because when a sell-off happens, it's not just on one exchange. It's smart money sellers across the board taking the market down. So even the you know, the uptrend, I saw it coming right here, the buying waves, the selling waves here, bingo. It's the biggest selling wave, 29 waves, confirmed by both NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, followed by a lower high, diverging from the market's high, and that's it. And oh shit, this is also really bad. The springboard here, that's really bad. Anyway, who cares? So that's the idea. I just use this because out of everything that I found that has predictive abilities, the market breadth has the best predictive abilities for a turning point that I've ever seen. You know, besides using weekly and monthly charts and whatever, but this is one of the best predictive forecasting, all of that. So that's why I use it. All right, now we'll take a look at crude. All right, crude, I'm showing you guys this. There's very, very important behavior in crude because it's getting ready for the, it looks like it's getting ready for bounce. So I'll show what happened. So you have the daily, right? Now the daily, I'm not sure if I'm going to start tracking the weekly, but I'd be able to get really big moves. Anyway, this is what's important. I'll show you guys what's important. You know, whatever methodology you use, right, you need to be able to identify strength and weakness. So if you're using waves, you have to be able to identify strength and weakness. How do you do that? Big waves, big waves, big waves, a lot of volume, you know, big price volume waves. That's the expression of strength. Big up wave, expression of demand. Big down wave, expression of supply. So when I see that, that's the biggest wave in 12 waves coming off this spring. Again, biggest wave in 12 waves. The only thing I don't know, oh shit, this is actually coming off of an accumulation area. This accumulation area that initiated this trend is getting tested here, you know, and that's typically where we're expected to come from. This was look at this. The biggest selling wave in 17 waves. What happened after that? We had a downtrend. Biggest up wave in 12 waves. All right. So is this a sign of strength? Right? So I don't want to go into all the testing and all of that, but basically that's what you got to do. You have to see, is there a level in the back? I would like to see some, statistics on how big these bars are right here, because as I explained 100,000 times, sign of strength wave starts with a sign of strength bar, like this. Sign of strength wave. This should be a big bar. This one right here, big red bar. I'm not sure how big this is, but typically it has two things: sign of strength or sign of weakness bar, big bar. It can also have a backbreaker, which breaks the back of the trend, as Wyckoff said. So that's this right here. Here you have something, and you have a breakout. It's not very easily visible, but these two bars are there, and they got tested, and that's why you had a violent reversal yesterday. All right, but that right there is the 12th biggest. So what happened was the market came back and pulled back to test. As it pulled back to test, it broke this low, the 72.24 low, and look at the buying that initiated. Biggest buying wave on an hourly chart. I'm using the daily and hourly in 49 waves. I like it. All right. All right, but I know I need to do a little bit more analysis, and then I can confirm all that shit. But I'm not trading the higher time frames. I'm just in and out. So, but if I was, I definitely would be all over this. But this is the change of behavior sign of strength on the hourly using a daily level. That's the daily level. Pulls back. Hits when it goes in spring position, someone's buying the spring. Biggest buying win, 49 bars. Look at this. This is the breakout. What happens? Breakout gets tested. What happens? As it gets tested, reversal of 13, biggest bar and 13 bars. Buying. So I'm looking for, here was the selling off the high that initiated this move down. This is the selling springboard. If you don't know what a springboard is, this is the Wyckoff signal. He said, trade the springboards, go and read the course. He had like 10 more than, I don't know how many examples, but again and again, he talks about springboards. Springboards just mean the point where it's going to enter markup or markdown. Here you go. And that can happen off of an apex. It can happen off of a low volume pullback after a change of behavior. It can also happen in absorption. All right. So anyway, this one here, very high probability. Why? Biggest selling bar in 36 bars. Hits the selling, has follow through. Test that same bar. Puke fest right here. And now we're probably going to get another test of the low, and I want to see if that gets bought or not. Was I able to trade this? No. Why? Damn thing occurred 4 o'clock in the morning. And then, what do you want me to do? So, all right. Take care, guys. Bye.